Hello, hello, it is that time of year once again. It is time to vote for the Steam Awards, and I'm going to walk you through what I voted for and why I voted for it. I will give you a heads up. There are two games that I've voted for that I have not played. I will tell you why, but they're basically ones which would otherwise be a skip in that category, and they were pretty big categories and I didn't really want to skip them, so I thought I'll just tell you now, right now, it is based on word of mouth from my friends, so my friend would have voted for this, so I'm just going to give him an extra vote. But beyond that, let's get into what I voted for. Remember, this is based on games that released this year, and games mostly, apart from the two that I'm going to mention and we get to them, that I played this year. And so that is a surprisingly narrow list, and so if some of these choices seem a little weird to you, that would be why, and I'll explain each as we go. Okay, so first of all, we have a Sit Back and Relax award, and that goes to Squeakross, which is unashamedly my choice here. It's not just, oh, I didn't have much to choose from. I actually had a lot to choose from. But Squeakross, if you are not aware, is a indie game which is Picross, but also Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. You solve Picross puzzles, which are silhouettes of pieces of furniture which you then unlock to place in your house for your mouse. And you get to design their little home and unlock extra rooms and get you can also get them things to wear from unlocking things. And yeah, Picross, I really enjoy Picross puzzles, and it really soothes the mind. Everything about this game is just like a balm for your mental health, and I'm very, very fond of it, and I would recommend it to anyone. So that wins the Sit Back and Relax award. Up next, however, we have the Outstanding Story-Rich Game Award, and this is a game I haven't played. This is one of the two games I haven't played that I'm voting for, but I've heard excellent things about Dispatch, and I really want to try it for myself, and from everything I've heard, it definitely deserves this award, just for being kind of like a Telltale Games game, but it has more gameplay to it than a Telltale Games game does, and it's like an original story instead of being based on an IP, which most Telltale games are. So yeah, I figure that's probably a safe bet, because the problem with this is the only three it suggested to me was Hello Kitty Island Adventure, The Sims 2, and Gex Trilogy. And you know what? I don't think Gex Trilogy, as good as it is, I don't think it wins the award for Best Outstanding Story. But up next, we have the Best Soundtrack Award, and I'm going to give this to RuneScape Dragon Wilds. It didn't actually suggest this game for me, and this is an issue I take with the Steam Awards. I don't think they should try and suggest games you've played based on an algorithm. I think it should just list every game you played this year that's eligible for this award and let you scroll through them and choose from them, because RuneScape Dragon Wilds has a pretty good soundtrack. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna absolutely blow me away. It's not one of my favourite soundtracks I've ever heard, but in terms of games I've played this year that actually released this year, or hit early access this year, I suppose, it's probably the best soundtrack that I've heard. There's a remix of the kind of original RuneScape theme, but and when it hits, it's so nostalgic, but at the same time so transformative and different that it really does take me aback. Up next, we have the Best Game But You Suck At award, and I thought this is where the Gex Trilogy belongs, because I died a lot in Gex Enter the Gecko this year. I finished it, I beat it. Again, it's not like a Dark Souls level challenge or anything like that, but I don't tend to play these super difficult, frustrating, challenging games. I'm sure Hollow Knight Silk Song will probably win this one, but as far as my nominations go, again, I don't know why they put Dragon Wilds here but not down there. As far as my nominations go, yeah, Gex Trilogy goes here pretty snugly. Up next, we have the Most Innovative Gameplay Award, and this is an award that I've given based on I don't really have a lot to choose from here. There's nothing here that's really that innovative, so you know what, Squeakross is the first game I've seen that's taken Picross and kind of used it to create a larger game out of it, a larger game experience. Picross is one side of this game, and it kind of is used to inform the other side of a game. It's not crazy and it's not gonna win, but out of all the games I played that were eligible, this one fit the criteria the most. Up next we have Outstanding Visual Style Award. Oh, I lied. Sorry, I haven't played this game either. This is the third vote for a game that I haven't played. However, when we're talking about Outstanding Visual Style, I feel like that's one that is safe to vote for if you haven't played the game and you can just see it from the outside. And it's a bit of a safe vote. I know last year I voted for Dragon Quest III HD 2D and this is basically the same kind of a thing, but it is a god tier graphical remake for an NES title. Like, so much love is poured into it. And if you could take the people who had just played the original Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior for the NES and take them to today and be like, this is what it looks like now, it would blow their minds. And yeah, I'm sure there's other games that deserve this more, but this is my vote. It's also like kind of like, I haven't played it this year, but I kind of have because it's an extension of Dragon Quest III HD 2D, so you know, shrug. Up next we've got Better with Friends Award. I gave this to Necess because Necess, which if you don't know is an indie survival game which is kind of like Terraria, but it's got more of like a top-down camera angle. It's really fun. I haven't actually played a huge amount of it yet, but I picked it up because I played the free weekend with Reese, and then we ended up picking it up because when it released it went on a pretty decent sale as well as it hit 1.0, and so we both picked it up and played some of it together. And I mean, I prefer playing this game with Reese than playing it alone, so it's like literally better with friends, so it's not that deep. That's why this gets the award. Up next, we've got the Best on Steam Deck award, and I don't own a Steam Deck, so we're going to skip ahead to the Labour of Love award. And No Man's Sky takes it again. And you know what? I would feel guilty about giving the Labour of Love award to No Man's Sky every year, except the fact that it earns that award every year kind of compounds its place in the award. You know what I mean? Like, if this game steadily earns this afresh every year, then surely this is the game to give it to, because no other game is doing this much for the game, for its fans, that it deserves a place in this nomination list every year. So yeah, No Man's Sky definitely deserves it. There were other games as well, which, you know, I'm not well versed enough in Lord of the Rings Online to kind of like know if it deserves it, but I very much am grateful that this game is still going because I played it for the first time this year. There's also some stuff in here which, like, you know, Last Epoch definitely does not deserve it because the publishers, the devs sold it off to publishers who are gonna, you know, milk it for monetization, and they've said they're gonna use generative AI to create content for it and stuff, so that's like devastating for the people who love Last Epoch. But yeah, I guess that's my anti-nomination for Last Epoch, or Epoch, I don't know how to say that damn word. And finally, skipping over the VR Game of the Year award because I don't own anything VR, the Game of the Year is my other game that I haven't played this year, but I've heard too many people talk about how good Expedition 33 is, and I am going to pick that game up at some point fairly soon, and I know that I'm going to love it. So I guess my 2026 self is probably screaming at me to nominate this game, so I'm just gonna do it for him. For those who come after, there you go. Hey, how's that? Yeah, I listened to the game. I know what it's about. Yeah, I've heard people talk about it. Anyway, that's those are my nominations. I think the cool thing about the Steam Awards is, despite obviously the biggest games of the year are gonna win the awards, I think it's cool to see what people nominate individually, because you're gonna see games that won't show up in like the Game Awards, like Squeecross, RuneScape Dragon Mars, the Gex trilogy, even though that is a remaster, Necess and stuff like that. I think it would be cool if lots of people made these kinds of videos, because then we would get a wider idea of the wider spread of games that people have played this year. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this little rundown, and I guess I'll meet you back here next year for the Steam Awards 2026, when I'll be going, oh man, I wish I could have voted for Expedition 33.